Captain's Log, November 28, 2014. So, we got a little bit of news this weekend from Comicon about Batman vs. Superman. And the big thing, of course, is that there was a leaked trailer. Well, there was a trailer there, a teaser trailer, and then it got leaked on the internet. I got to see it before Warner Brothers started pulling it down. And I'm always a little bit on the fence about whether or not I should talk about leaked stuff. I didn't want to do reviews for the leaked Constantine pilot or the Flash pilot, and for the record, I've not watched them yet. I want to wait till they air. I want to wait and give my first reactions as soon as they come out. But I did go ahead and watch the teaser. I'm sure we'll get that teaser sometime pretty soon, and I couldn't help it. I was kind of curious, and I think it's a little bit different than watching a TV show before it airs, because at least it was meant to be seen by people who were there. Of course, you know, I wasn't there, and I didn't pay to go in there, so maybe that's not right. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but somebody said it to me. I was too curious. So I'm only gonna briefly talk about that because you know, you may not have gotten to see that. Pictures have leaked, so people have seen you know, pictures of it, and it is basically just Batman on a roof with the bat signal, and the bat signal looks just like the Frank Miller symbol, which of course is also emblazoned on his chest. The whole thing is incredibly Frank Miller-ish. It's like there's a ton of lightning. It's incredibly stylized. It's that sort of stylized. Batman looks incredibly angry and brutish, and or at least really super serious. And there's homages to the classic Frank Miller Batman jumping in front of the lightning thing. He's not actually jumping in front of the lightning, but just the way the lightning is done, you can kind of tell they're evoking that. And then Superman shows up, and he's got his red heat vision eyes, which of course also kind of a reference to that book, and that's about what it is. It's incredibly stylized, and that's the thing that's kind of got me excited about it. It just looks so comic book. It looks so over the top and not realistic at all, and that's kind of fun and exciting for me. We also had a picture that released today of, or I guess yesterday now, of Gal Godot as Wonder Woman, and it looks really neat. I like the muted colors on it. It looks just like the Wonder Woman suit. It's very faithful to the comics, except it's brown. And I wonder if eventually we won't get you know, red and blue painted version of it. But like it looks like what I would kind of expect coming from an Amazon. Like it looks like actual Amazonian garb. It's not all, you know, it doesn't look like it's supposed to be worn by somebody who lives in America, and it just happens to be those colors, but it's kind of patriotic looking, and you know, it looks very Amazonian. It looks pretty Greek, and I really like it. I think Gal Godot looks fantastic in the costume, and again, just but I was surprised by that because I wasn't sure about that pick, and we'll see what she's like as an actress. I've never seen her in anything, but like, she looks like Wonder Woman to me, and I'm not a giant Wonder Woman fan, so anybody watching this that's like, nah, she's not Wonder Woman, I don't like that pick, fair enough. We'll see what it's like when it comes out. It's just my first reaction was, oh, that's pretty neat looking. I still have my reservations about this project. Don't get me wrong, I still think the title is silly, but titles are whatever. It could still be a really fantastic movie, and I'm still worried it's going to be incredibly super cynical, which is the reservation I have about Man of Steel. As much as I super freaking loved it when it first came out, the more I've thought about it, the more unsure of that movie I've been, and I've gone on record and said that a lot of times. I just don't know how I feel about the way the ending was handled, and if it was thoughtful enough, if they were really understanding what they were doing when they did that, and all of that, and I just don't want that to translate too much to this new movie. Can Snyder make Batman vs. Superman movie that ends up being not cynical? Can he make a movie with kind of some optimism in it while still having Batman and Superman have some kind of a tiff between each other that they have to work out? Can these characters fight without one or both of them getting totally thrown under the bus? I still am kind of hoping that it's not a movie where Batman has to come in and teach Superman how to be responsible. That just seems so backwards to me. Superman, I mean, I don't want him to be, you know, the tool of the government that he is in Frank Miller. Frank Miller was making some points with that, and it was an out of continuity thing, and I don't feel like that that fits for this. So I'm just, I don't know. That's where I'm at with it still. So what they're doing is so far is not what I wanted, and yet it looks like it might be done really well, just based on what they're wanting to do. This could be a wonderful spectacle, regardless of what they're doing story-wise and whether or not I end up liking it. I feel like I might end up getting really taken with it like I did Man of Steel, regardless of my uncertainties about it. And I don't know what that says about me, but the imagery is provocative. That's all I can say, is that, like, you know, as a fan of these characters, it's really, really exciting to finally see something done with Superman that is so comic book. And that was one of the things I really loved about Man of Steel. And I just hope that Snyder learned some lessons from the first one. That's all I'm hoping. Some interviews I've seen with him don't inspire a lot of confidence there, because he seemed to kind of, you know, react to people complaining about collateral damage and stuff as, well, this is realistic violence, so this is what it should be, you're wrong. I hope he learned something about that ending, and you know, and I hope, you know, certainly that Goyer does. But anyway, you know, I think though this is a little too early. But I'm of two minds about it, because, you know, 2 years out, 2 years before we get this thing, we already know what the costumes look like, and we have a pretty good sense of what the tone of the thing is going to be visually. But then again, you know, anything could change, because we are 2 years out. So I mean, like, I guess they're pretty confident that what they're showing us is something indicative of what the thing's actually going to be like. But my two minds of it are, I just don't like knowing as much as I do already about this thing before it comes out. 2 years, you know, I'd like them to be more hush-hush about it. I'd like it to be, you know, just before the movie comes out and I go, holy crap, that looks amazing. But at the same time, and I mean, I've felt that about a lot of projects. I say this all the time with Dark Knight. You know, we got Dark Knight picture spoilers 6 months before that movie came out, and or even more, and we knew what the Joker looked like. And I was like, oh man, this is so early. And boy, how times have kind of changed even since then. That this seems to just be kind of par for the course these days, where like we see the major stuff a lot earlier than we used to. We see what characters look like and what the designs are pretty early these days. But 2 years is pretty crazy. Then again, the thing originally was slated for 2015, so they obviously had already started working on a lot of stuff and were trying to push it out for that, so they might just be farther ahead than we realize they are in a lot of production stuff. And so I can sort of, I can sort of see where they're at, where they're like, well, we already have some things we'd like to put out and kind of ease people's minds. And see, that's the other thing, is there has been a lot of uncertainty about this project. There's been backlash, but there's been excitement, and there's people going, Ben Affleck in the Batsuit, I don't want to see that, and there's other people like me going, Frank Miller, you know, big screen Batman vs. Superman, that's not really what I was really hoping for this, I don't know about it. I think they're trying to ease our minds with it. I think they're saying, well, you know, we can either come out and tell you that we're doing all of this stuff that seems really counterintuitive and not really what you expected, and then just not show you anything from it and get everybody really, really down on it, and especially the fan community, everybody just going, oh, Batman vs. Superman, this could be terrible, that's going to be terrible, for 2 years, or at least a year and a half, or we can start showing you some things earlier and get people excited about it. And I think that's what they've chosen to do. So I think, I don't know, there's a part of me that really thinks that this is an exception because of choices they've already made, that maybe from a business perspective, you had to show us something, even more than just, you know, that black and white picture of Ben Affleck, that maybe we need a teaser trailer at Comicon. Maybe we need to have that around Christmas or whenever they're going to release it. It just to appease people and make people go, you know, maybe I should give this a little bit more of a chance. You know what they should have done? What they should have done is they should have said, we've got a movie called Batman vs. Superman coming out in 2016, and that's all we're going to tell you about it. Because that's all they need to get that thing to make money. And if that's all they told us, and then all of a sudden, 6 months, a year out, we found out, holy crap, it's Affleck, holy crap, it's Frank Miller, people would have already been so excited about it that I don't know that that stuff would have killed it. I mean, it could have, I don't know, who knows? You know, you really kind of have to just put the stuff out there and see what happens, but like, you know, if the first time we found out about that stuff was the images of it and not Ben Affleck as Batman. You know, and I don't know how you keep that stuff hush-hush, you know? I mean, this is all perfect world scenario. But I'm just saying that, like, you know, I see it kind of like... I used this analogy the other day with a friend of mine. I'm going to use it here. It's sort of like pork chops. I like pork chops. They're okay, but I can't get excited about it when I find out I'm having pork chops. So if my wife's like, hey, Captain Logan, because my wife calls me Captain Logan, she's like, hey, Captain Logan, we're going to have pork chops tonight. A lot of the time I'll be like, pork chops. But, like, if I didn't know what she was making and she made it a surprise and then I sat down and then I'm like, oh, we're having pork chops, then I'd be like, cool, I'm hungry, let's have some pork chops. Sometimes I feel that way with movies like this where I'm like, I need to see it, I need to smell it, I need to taste it, I need to get, I need to get it in front of me before I can get excited about it. And now I got a little bit in front of me and I'm going, oh, I need to give this a chance. And I knew this was going to happen because visually I loved a lot of things about Man of Steel. And story-wise and idea-wise, there's still a lot in that movie I really like. Like I said, I have an incredibly, I don't even want to say love-hate relationship. I have a weird relationship with that movie right now. So anyway, that's my initial thoughts about just the stuff that we're getting right now. I guess mostly I've just been talking about whether or not we should have gotten the stuff this early, and I'm just kind of like, 2 years, that's really early. Steve Baxi and I had a conversation about this earlier today, and he said that. He was like, 2 years, that's early. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But given what they had already told us about it, I can kind of see where they're saying, well, we better show people something already. Anyway, what do you folks think? I know everybody's going to have a different opinion about this stuff. Do you like what the Wonder Woman suit looks like? If you saw the teaser trailer, what did you think of it? I don't expect that we're really going to see that in the movie. I suspect that was a get our palettes wet, show us what the costumes look like, show us what the tone of the thing is going to be like. What do you folks think? I'm gonna say this. I think it's going to have an incredibly different feel than Man of Steel. I don't think it's going to be like that at all. It just seems like a different animal. But anyway, so leave your comments. What do you think? And in the meantime, thanks so much for watching. Sure appreciate it. I'm Captain Logan, and this concludes yet another Captain's Log.